In a remote village tucked between dry hills and broken roads lived a boy named Arjun. He came from a family that had little to its name: no land, no wealth, and no power. His father worked as a daily wage laborer, breaking stones under the sun. His mother stitched old clothes for the neighbors to bring in a few extra coins. They lived in a mud house with a tin roof that leaked during the rains. But what Arjun lacked in material things, he made up for in spirit. Even as a child, he was different. He would pick up discarded newspapers and torn books from the market trash and try to read them under the village banyan tree. He didn't always understand the words, but he kept reading. There was hunger in his belly, but a greater hunger in his mind. School was a luxury. Still, he convinced the village teacher to let him sit in the back of the classroom, even though he couldn't pay the fees. He listened carefully, wrote notes on recycled paper, and studied by the dim light of a lantern. Every evening after chores, while the other boys played, Arjun would sit quietly and learn. When he was 14, he started working part-time. He delivered milk in the mornings, cleaned a tea stall in the afternoons, and studied late at night. He had one goal: to break free from poverty, not just for himself, but for his entire family. Against all odds, Arjun completed school and passed his board exams with top marks. His scores earned him a government scholarship to study engineering in the city. The day he left for college, his mother gave him a small tiffin box filled with food and silent prayers. His father, not a man of many words, simply patted him on the back. City life was nothing like the village. The buildings were taller than any tree he'd seen. The traffic never stopped. The people looked busy, cold, and distant. Arjun shared a tiny room with 3 other students. He worked evenings washing dishes in a small restaurant and studied until dawn. College was tough. The others had laptops and spoke fluent English. Arjun had an old secondhand phone and a borrowed dictionary. But what he had more than anyone else was determination. He spent hours in the library, watching free tutorials on public computers, asking questions that others were too proud to ask. In his final year, Arjun worked on a project that would change his life. He created a simple device using cheap sensors to monitor soil moisture in farmland. It connected to a basic phone, sending alerts to farmers about when to water their crops. It wasn't high-end technology, but it was practical and, more importantly, affordable for farmers like his father. He presented his idea at a national innovation competition. At first, people laughed at his basic prototype, but when he explained how it could save water, increase yield, and prevent crop failure, the room grew quiet. A few weeks later, he received a small grant to turn the idea into a startup. Arjun named his company Krishi Smart Solutions. He hired young men